This is the Pedego Miniceptor, or at least that's what people who work there and some of the bike shop people call it, because it's the mini version of the Interceptor. Okay, this is one of Pedego's like top of the line bikes. It's got a headlight, it's got the sort of padded stitched grips, it's got the display panel with a USB charger on the bottom. It's got pedal assist, it's got twist throttle which overrides pedal assist. It's got the fenders, it's got your rack built in, it's kind of got everything. So if you like the cruiser style of bikes, and one of the features is that, see how kind of the seat tube is angled back like that? It means that your legs kind of extend forward and then down. It's a more comfortable, relaxed, kind of like a lazy boy sort of a fit. If you like that and you like the style, this beach cruiser with these upright handlebars, see how they're kind of swept back a little bit so that you don't have to lean forward, they come to you. It gives you kind of a heads up perspective when you're riding. Then this type of bike could be great. It's got the larger tires, they give you some cushion. This one has a seat post suspension shock. It's a solid bike, you know, it's a lot of fun, but it is relatively heavy. This is in the 58, 59 pounds mark for a relatively small bike. This is one of the small 24-inch series bikes that Pedego makes, and again, it's just the top of the line version, the Interceptor. So I might hit some of the specs real quick on this thing. Just, you know, what makes it a bicycle. Of course, we got those swept back handlebars and everything. We've got the step-through frame. The Miniceptor only comes in step-through, and I think that's because a lot of times women are getting this, and the ladies kind of, the look and feel on ladies' bikes, it traditionally has been sort of this step-through. If you have a skirt or a dress, you don't have to like swing your leg over the back. And if you do try to swing your leg over the back, be careful, because I have clocked my knee on these racks before. So it's best just to kind of step through like this, and that makes it real easy to stand over. So great frame that way, but one of the trade-offs is that it's not as stiff, because, you know, they don't have the triangle for support, and it's just, when you ride, if you do this with the handlebars and kind of jerk the bike back and forth, there's a little bit of crack the whip going on because all the weight is in the back, the battery, which is a larger battery. That's what the Pedego Interceptor line comes with. It's more powerful, but it means more weight. I think the batteries range in pounds from like 7.5 to 9 pounds, depending on which one you get. So I don't want to get ahead of myself. Got the beautiful matching aluminum alloy fenders. They're built right in, connect in several places, 3 back here. Same on the front, very full length. You know, they keep you from getting splashed if you're going through puddles and everything. That's awesome. I've got the chain guard with the paint on it. It's great. But if you're stepping through, be careful, because if you step on this, it can get bent. I've seen that before on the rentals. And Pedego bikes are used for rentals and tours quite a bit, and they seem to hold up really well. So that's a testament to sort of the quality. Pedego does have a great warranty, and they've been in business for a long time. So, you know, I trust their bikes, and I feel like they have good customer support. If we go towards the back here, we've got a 7-speed cassette with a Shimano Acera derailleur, and that's decent. You know, it's not the bottom of the line. It's kind of middle of the road. Got the nice painted rims that match. Those are those 24-inch rims with pre-slimed tubes. That means there's like this green goop inside, and if you get like a thorn in your tire and it comes out, you might start losing air, but the goop is meant to sort of plug it up dynamically, and you could just add more air to the tire and spin it, and it's supposed to be self-sealing. It doesn't always work, but it's supposed to make it easier for you so you don't have to change the tires, because it's not actually very easy or fun. You can see there's all these cables, and under this there's kind of like a bolt. There's no quick release, so you have to have tools. It's very much like this. You have to have tools to take either of the wheels off. That's just something to keep in mind. A lot of times I just go to my shop to get help. Got really heavy-duty spokes, nice tires, Schwalbe Big Apple. They give you a little bit of extra cushion. You know, see how they're a little bit wider? It's gonna kind of smooth out the ride. And these are 24 by 2 inch. Got this nice reflective sidewall stripe, so if you're riding during the night and a car light shines on you, they can see the reflector, they can see the reflectors on your pedals, and of course the light plus reflector, and at the rear, you know, really designed to be visible at night. And then I guess going from there, we've got this nice rack, and it's actually built into the frame. It's sort of welded on with this oversized tubing, and that's designed to support the weight of the battery. But one downside is it won't necessarily work with all the panniers that I've tried. Some of them have those little plastic clip-ons, and it's just too thick, and they won't fit on this. And so Pedego has their own sort of fabric panniers that hang over this, and it has kind of a Velcro thing on this front tube. And they work really well, and it almost conceals the battery. And then you look at this bike when the bag is on, and it almost doesn't look like an electric bike because the motor is so small. And I'll get to the motor in a little bit, but there's still some more features. It's got this little spring latch that's, I don't know if I'm not sure exactly how to use it. You just do it with lightweight stuff, papers or something. Big, oversized, really soft, squishy saddle with sort of bumpers and that seat post suspension I mentioned earlier. Quick release. We've got the swept-back handlebars, cruiser style. They aren't as big as the full-size Interceptor. They've actually scaled them down to fit the bike, and that's perfect. So they're sort of right-sized on this bike, which is nice. It doesn't feel like the handlebars are too big. There's those grips, got the Tektro brake levers, and they do have a motor inhibitor. So see how there's one cable here and another cable here? Two cables. One pulls the actual brake caliper, and the other sends a signal to the control system, which is built in here, to tell the motor to cut out. And that's awesome because this uses cadence sensing pedal assist, which means that it just measures movement. It's not measuring how hard you're pushing. So there are 12 sensors, which is great. See how closely they are spaced together? This is very responsive, but it's not as responsive as torque sensing or an advanced sensor, which would sense speed and torque and cadence. This is just, it's kind of just more basic. One of the drawbacks of cadence sensing is that it takes a little more effort to get going from zero because you need that dot to pass by the sensor. So you need to like push, oh, okay, now it hears me and it's going. But once you get going, you really don't have to push anymore. You just have to make sure those dots keep passing the sensor and the bike will go. I actually really like this system for a cruiser. I think it's the right answer. But to kind of head off or answer that first initial push, you can use the throttle on this bike at any time. It overrides pedal assist. So there's never really a time where I feel like I'm stuck with this bike. There's always some sort of answer, and because the motor and battery are so powerful, everything just works. There's a really great oversized kickstand, these nice oversized aluminum alloy platform pedals. They've got kind of upgraded bearings is what I've heard from Pedego. You know, they don't spin super fast. I think that's just because they're brand new, but they are very solid. They remind me of the Wellgo pedals I've seen in the past that I really liked. You can see that the sort of the wires are all integrated through the tubing and hidden, so it looks really nice. We've got the bottle cage adapter, or you could use that for a mini pump or a lock. Like there's the ABUS folding lock that could fit here really nicely. Of course, you could always put those in your bag, but I like having my water bottle right where I can grab it as I'm riding. But just keep in mind, don't kick that if you're stepping through. You gotta kind of be careful. And then, of course, here are the 180 millimeter Avid disc brake rotors, and they even have a finger adjust right here, so you can kind of tighten or loosen the cable. See, it's kind of moving there a little bit by hand. You don't have to carry along a tool for that. So it's an interesting mix of, you need tools to take the tires off and change tubes and everything, but you don't need tools to mess with the brakes or to do a couple other little things like raise and lower the seat post. I think that's a good point to make while we're on the topic. This is 28.6 millimeter diameter on this, and the real benefit of this Miniceptor is that the seat can go so low. Look at that. If you're super short, I mean, you're still gonna fit on this bike. That's you know, I guess I have a tape measure. Let's see here. Looks like 16 or 17 inches for that step-through height. Here, and I'll do this one more time. And about 31 inches for the saddle. So, you know, really, really nice if you're someone who's just not as tall. Okay, so finally we can talk about the drive system on this thing. This is a 500 watt internally geared rear hub motor by Dappu. I know it says powered by Pedego, but Dappu is the manufacturer in Asia. This is one of the better geared hub motors I've tried. It's very powerful, very zippy. Easy Motion also uses this same hub motor on their bikes. They seem to last really well. Good choice. And 500 watts is at the upper end. In the United States, 750 watts is the maximum, and I don't know of really any cruisers that go that high. This is kind of the top of the line in terms of power from a big brand like Pedego. It is geared, which means that there's these plastic gears inside. There's a little magnet-powered motor in the middle, and it spins fast, and then the gears step down that speed and turn it into torque and power. So it's a good setup. It keeps the hub smaller and lighter. but there's a little bit more noise because those gears are actually rubbing in there. When we do the ride test, you'll be able to hear it. It's not terrible, but that's one of the trade-offs with something like this. And then we've got the motor. It comes in two sizes. There is the 48 volt 10 amp hour, which is what this bike has, and the 48 volt 15 amp hour. More amp hours just means more distance. It's more capacity. So it's, you know, your decision of how far you think you need to go, but you are going to add weight and expense. This sort of base model, 48 volt 10, it retails for $29.95, and if you step up to the 48 volt 15, that's $32.95. So, you know, it's several $100s more. Is it worth it to you? I love that you can activate this rear light just at any time, and that it's got like a voltage indicator right there, so you can kind of see how full the battery is, whether it's on or off the bike. And I'm gonna have to turn this key to pull it out. And by the way, the key does not have to be left in while riding. I love that. You can take it out now. Before, you had to leave it in and it kind of dangled. So we pull out the battery pack here. Again, this is like maybe 8 pounds. Got a fuse built in. That's nice to be able to replace it and protect the batteries. These are Samsung cells, so really nice stuff. Here's the charging port right there. And then there's a physical on and off switch right there, so off. So when you're not using the battery, I recommend sort of charging it up, and then you store it in a sort of a cool, dry place. Avoid extreme cold, avoid extreme heat. That'll sort of wreck the battery over time. And leave it off, because that's going to help it to keep from discharging. These are lithium-ion batteries. They're known for being lightweight, long-lasting, and it's just a good pack all around, you know, pretty easy to carry around. There isn't really a handle, but it does have kind of like a grip thing going on. And then this plastic shell and that aluminum like cage built around the rack, that actually helps to protect the battery physically if the bike tips. So I'm just sliding it back in, it clicks in, we're all good. So that's that. To activate the bike, I'm gonna flick that little switch again, and then we head up to the control panel. But before we do that, I wanna point out this charger. It's a little bit different and nicer than some of the lower battery chargers that Pedego has. The 36 volt, 48 volt charger has this metal plug, which is nice. It's not gonna crack if you drop it on the floor. Standard wall plug. And let's see. Yeah, it looks like 3 amps, so it's a little bit faster. And it does have kind of a fan built in. It's not super heavy. This is closer to 2 pounds versus 1.5 on the other chargers, but still compact. You could easily put this in a bag and, you know, throw it in your backpack or on the rack here and take it along with you for charging at the office or a friend's house or whatever. So that's cool. Okay, so back to the display panel. The battery is on back there. We're looking at the display. We press the power button and it comes to life. It says 24 inches, and then immediately it says pedal assist level, which is 0, miles per hour, 5 chunks on that little battery indicator, and then our trip distance. And you can click set and it shows your time or your odometer. Okay, and if you want to go in and edit any of these, you can hold set for a second, and it basically takes you into all these menus where you can kind of hit set and go through and change the wheel size, or change from miles per hour to kilometers per hour, and reset your trip meter, all that stuff. So kind of keep that in mind. I'm going to go ahead and back it out to the main display. To activate the lights, you press the power button one more time, and you can see there's a little light icon there in the upper left. And otherwise, you just use the up and down arrows to go through 5 levels of pedal assist. Of course, the higher the level you go, the more power you're going to get, but you're also going to use your battery more quickly. So it's kind of a trade-off, you know, more power, but shorter ride. And at any time, you can override pedal assist with the throttle. And I love that because, again, I guess I tend to ride like in pedal assist level 1 because it's quiet. It's not helping me too much. You know, I'm not wearing the battery down. I'm getting exercise. The problem is then I hit a hill and I want the help. Well, with the Pedego bikes, you can just override the pedal assist and boom, you're back in action. You're getting plenty of power. So there we go. You can already hear it kicking in. This is just pedal assist level 1. Listen to the motor. And there is a little bit of a delay on the pedal assist, and that's what I was talking about. It's a cadence sensor, so it takes a minute for it to respond and recognize that you've stopped pedaling. Go ahead and turn here. But, this is my body position. Nice and upright, really relaxed, but you'll notice my legs aren't getting the full extension, and that's because this bike's probably a little bit small for me. If you were a little bit shorter and you raised the seat up like this, you could probably get it just right. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use that throttle from standstill. You can really feel it with that 48-volt battery. And there's a hill over here I've been going up and down, and it has no problem climbing this. It's great to have that extra power from the motor, from the battery working together to kind of lift you. But be careful. I mean, this thing can get going, and as I said, it's a little bit heavier, and there is that crack the whip feel kind of on the motor and the battery back there. It kind of bounced around a little bit more than if this was, a more active bike. So. A relaxed, comfortable cruiser. That's what it's designed to be, and in my opinion, it works really well. I like it. It's good company. So for the full write-up on the Miniceptor, or rather the Interceptor, where I cover this bike, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com.